Today we are also addicted to our Osu Beat Saber, probably still Osu, and just for those to shut the fuck up, Friday Night f***ing. However, it's a game that isn't that popular, well actually is kind of pretty popular. I just got addicted to it and it's very fun. Welcome to Muse Dash, a colorful rhythm game where you hit notes represented by these enemies to the beat of the song. You know, kind of like every rhythm game. This game has no story, and understandably, how do we go from Candyland to Space Station to Castle to Rainy Night to China to Retro City to Tron, and also Gensokyo for some. But even if the game had lore, it probably would have been very easy to understand. This game heavily relies on a specific demographic, those being that want the big giant. And the devs probably noticed too, as they've seen that people want their waifus to become reality, so they did it. And I may or may not be here for the exact same reason. And now I have become addicted myself, so yeah. Alright, so first off, the absolute basics and how to get good. Gameplay is really simple. There are 2 rows of notes, and once enemy goes to the dot right here, you hit note, and depending on your accuracy, you get perfect or great or just miss completely. Getting either great or perfect will determine your score or your accuracy, so worry about that. One important aspect of getting points is fever mode, which when activated gives off more points when hitting notes. Your fever bar fills up as you hit notes, and once filled up, it will activate automatically, unless you have manual fever on, which I don't recommend if you're starting out. Oh, and there's also ranks which is dependent on your accuracy. In the beginning, it does kind of matter as it helps you level up more. However, once you unlock everything with the levels, then it just becomes something to flex. There are currently 7 ranks you can achieve, which are Gold S, Silver S, regular Pink S, A, B, C, and D. And no, even if you're a casual player, you will never get a D in your entire life, only when you try to. Different characters and elephants also give you advantages with points, but I'll talk about that later. Now let's get to the actual fun part, actually playing the game and getting good to shit on the others. For choices of platform, I highly recommend playing on mobile or PC. If you can play on a small screen and want the most stable version of the game, then play on mobile. If you want your giant ass screen and want to play on your keyboard, then play on PC. And now finally, it's actually time to launch the game.
I hope you enjoy finding your own wheel. Let's try.
Once you boot up the game, it will play a tutorial as it will help you with the basic controls because you will obviously need them later. And once you're done, play the first one on easy mode as it will help you get used to the controls better. Don't play on hard mode if you're starting out unless you're a man and don't give a shit about difficulties. And from there, once you finish the level, you can move on with other songs and probably keep leveling up to probably unlock more items, more characters, more stuff, and probably, you know, go absolute try hard mode on whatever you want. But just please, for the love of God, do not play a song for 18 fucking times. I mean, if you really like the song, that makes sense, but 13 times on easy mode, that's kind of excessive. By the way, I'm not making fun of you, just play however you want, I'm not controlling your life. Now the most obvious part, actually picking a song to play. In the base game, there's actually a good selection of songs, but if you have the DLC, then that number noticeably increases. Literally loading all the songs in one page takes a few seconds to load, which is actually really funny. The DLC costs $30, which may be bad for some people, though the base game literally feels like it's free, so buying the DLC feels like buying the full experience. With it, you unlock all characters, all elephants, you get some pretty cool art too, but most importantly, you also unlock all previous music packs and will automatically unlock all new music packs that come out in the future. Now back to the topic of actually choosing a map to play. Some maps are really easy. However, as we all know, like every rhythm game, this can quickly become a tutorial how to break your keyboard, or your phone, or your controllers, depending on what you're playing on. Make sure you choose a map that's in your skill level, because if you're a beginner and you're trying to play some of the harder maps, you're gonna have a really difficult time. If you want some of the easier songs, play the songs that you unlock earlier in the game. If you really want the stuff, then play some of the later songs or some of the DLC songs, as they're actually really fun. Some maps also have hidden cheats, which when activated, you can either play a better map, play a map that has pretty cool effects, or whatever the hell this is. Now, do I have any gameplay tips? Not really. If you want to, you can just lower the background to absolute void. Don't be cocky and don't underestimate difficulties. So yeah, done. Now the moment you've been waiting for, the characters. There's a reason why this game is 17 plus on the App Store and somehow rated teen on Steam and everywhere else. Maybe one day over there in China, the developers discovered something magical called hentai and discovered that people actually watch this 24/7. So to get that extra sales, they decided to put them in the game, and it must have worked. So hopefully I don't get age restricted, and just in case, YouTube. This game is literally rated T for teen. That means 13-year-olds can literally play this game. Alright, but actually the characters. In the game, there are 3 main characters, Rin, Buro, and Marija. Each character has a few different costumes which will be interchanged. And there are also some characters from DLC which are also from collabs. Like I said, each character gives up a different advantage depending on what you want. However, if you're like me and most people, you say fuck that because it's all about the character design. Hell, even they know it. So here's every character in the show nut. Basis Rin is the first character you ever get in the game, and the only one with 300 health. Later she becomes useless, so you could ditch her after you get another character, just like how I did to my girlfriend. Bad girl Rin can turn a gray into a perfect for 5 times, which is pretty much useless unless you're bad at accuracy. Play as Sleepwalker Rin if you're really that lazy, but she is perfect for songs that sound like Bunny Girl Rain gets a 100% more score when collecting red hearts and notes, knocking back ghosts, and dodging barriers. And before we move on, don't ask, because it gets worse from here. It's not my fault they look like this. Nobody cares about her. She only gives 5% accuracy when you finish a stage, which also does nothing. Best character in the game. Does nothing but can do some rad tricks in the air like an absolute god. Pilot Burrow becomes invincible during fever mode, so play as her if you want to live slightly longer. Outer Burrow gives 50% more XP when completing a map. She's great if you want to level up fast. Play as Zombie Burrow if you don't want to die. With Joker Burrow, if you get a combo above 60 or 70, you can get a higher bonus off of it, so that's pretty cool. Sailor Burrow probably went to Google and to search for some hacks, cheats, and aimbots for PC games, and found an actually pretty good aimbot. However, those hacks probably have a membership fee, so thus you lose 20% of your score. Mighty Jai is played by all of the non-horny chads. Well, slightly less horny chads. Though she is good if you can't keep up with your combos. However, right next to her, there's Maid, which is pretty much the exact opposite. If you want an advantage, it's very useless. Though I think she's the reason the game is getting so many sales. Magic Maija makes Fever 20% more faster, but to be honest, I couldn't find a use out of it. Little Doe Maija is pretty OP. A whopping 25% more score when knocking back enemies, though she probably has a serious case of meningitis, as she loses 10 HP per second. So it's important to pair her with Lilith. As for Airy Perfect Judgment, she restores 2 HP. The girl in black lessens the area of Perfect, Rain, and Pass, so it's much easier to get those judgments. And now finally the collab characters. Yume from Groove Coaster can literally eradicate gears from existence at high speeds. Neko from Sidus 2, play as her if you really don't want to die. And Reimu from Toho Chirno Haha Shooty Game can fly in the air. And funniest part, you can technically play Toho in Muse Dash. By clicking on ball, you basically make all the enemies Danmakus, and thus you can just play Toho now. There are also Elephants too, but I'm just a bit too lazy to do that. Now there might be more characters in the future, but they're all pretty much the same. All you need for a Muse Dash character is big titties and an advantage, and that's pretty much it. You're done. To be honest, all I can say about the game is that it's just good. The only thing I will criticize is that the game is easily broken by very small updates. Though if you want to start getting into rhythm games, I highly recommend starting with this one. Maybe because it's cheap and that there's so many songs in the base game, and you can easily get more with the DLC. Alright, I'm gonna head out and keep picking my keyboards. Thank you for watching. McDonald's fries are